camera has to be moved, don't it?
You're live.
All right, we're live. Hold on, moving the camera.
Moving the camera.
Shut up. Don't. There you go. Is that good? Up,
Looks
up,
good.
up.
Yep.
And
It was good.
good.
That'll work.
Good.
Okay, let's do a review. Get off me.
All right, peeps. Here we go. All right, so this is our update.
So, Bill.
But yeah, Bill. Bob. All right, so we're going to start with the install, the quick and easy install. Okay, so just to recap, you're going to take your GearVR headset and you're going to pop out the lens. And if you're following the tutorial, make sure you don't do the whole thing. You can actually get to the clips right from the inside, right from the first part.
As long as you can see, there's clips here. As long as you can get to the clips inside, just push something.
Yeah,
push something in there.
Skip that all. So get out the Vive or the GearVR lenses. Then take out your Vive, and then what you want to do real quick is you want to take something that's kind of sharp, not like an X-Acto knife sharp, and then there is an edge on the Vive lens, and you're going to get right into the corner of that edge. You're going to push down as far as you can and get underneath the edge, and then push and pressure down, and it should pop the lens right out.
I'd recommend a saber of some sort or a samurai sword.
Right.
Should make it really easy to get a lot of leverage on that thing.
A butcher knife is probably a good idea at that point. Once you get both lenses out, just be careful, be gentle, and you're going to take the Vive, the GearVR lenses. You're going to pop them in this adapter. You're going to throw them in. Bada bing, bada boom. It's going to stick. Yeah. And then you're done.
Just make sure you have your gear lenses inside, all ready to go on your 3D printed adapters. And this way, when you take out your lens on your Vive, you can pop these straight in, and it'll kind of look. Let's be honest. You're going to get dust in these. All right,
it's going to happen.
Be gentle. Put it in. Kind of line it up carefully. Pop it down, and hopefully, if you do it quick enough and right the first time, you won't get any dust inside the Vive. But I guarantee you're going to get dust inside your Vive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the short and sweet of it.
With that being said,
if you want better instructions, go back and watch our other live videos. There's other videos online.
Yeah, this is just a short recap.
Yeah. So there were some people that actually said that they were going to jump in. They held all their stuff together. So what we figured we'd do was we do a recap. We actually helped a few people do this. They do this mod. We walked them through it. They have much easier time than we did. So when you watch the video and you see us struggling, just remember it was the first time we did it. Once you do it a couple times, it's real easy. There's a good chance that you're going to revert back. We're going to go over the pros and cons real quick. Maybe you won't. Maybe you will. I can tell you that there's going to be people that are joining in on this live chat. They're going to discuss why they went back, and we're going to discuss why we did not go back, and we're going to address a few issues. And some of the issues, real quick, is I'm going to tell you, me and Bill do not agree with, but we're going to get into that.
Okay.
All right.
So first, let me just say these are. I want to start off by saying these are just our opinion. All right. This is not. We're not scientists. We didn't invent lenses. We're not lensologists. Okay, we own a Vive, and this is just our personal opinion. Okay, yeah. We're not Vive technologists,
Viveologists.
All right,
not VRologists.
So we're just giving an opinion. Just take it with a grain of salt, and then we'll go on.
Okay, so just run with that.
Let me just say that I did have, when we did our mod, right. I did have specs in my Vive after we were done, and I would say out of the list of bad things that could happen, that's probably the most annoying one.
No, I can tell you the most annoying one.
You're supposed to back me up on
Okay, yes.
What's the second most annoying one?
The second most annoying one is the adhesive coming up in the middle.
Okay, yeah, we'll pop that up to number one. Okay, but that kind of mixes in with the most second annoying one, which now you're number one. Right. Okay, so when you get the specs inside the Vive, I could tell you that I took mine off this piece here probably at least a half a dozen, if not more times, to get the dirt outside of the Vive.
I don't think I've taken mine off once.
You're okay.
After the original
this is where
install,
the
I don't
whole
think I've
you
taken
get lucky and you don't get lucky thing. Let me tell you what had happened with me. So I had a
We're trying to make this fast, by the way.
okay. I had a cleaner
Right.
that came with my my camera,
Right.
and that cleaner had a brush.
Okay.
Okay, so what I would do is I take it out and then I take the brush.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, let me see that. Yeah, it's exactly like this. So see how this has a little brush on it?
I don't know if I can say.
And then this side, it's a spray. Let me bring it up to the camera. So this right here, if you pop this out, it has a brush on it that you can use to clean lenses. This is actually for cleaning lenses, camera lenses. So what I would do is I'd pop this out, and I'd have a real bright light on the Vive, and I'd look inside. Now you could either see white, which represented the dust.
You're talking about once it's on and you're looking
on the
at
screen, because the screen you would think is like glass, but it's actually just gray. It's kind of gray. So things. The good thing is good things stand out when they get in there. So if you have a bright light and look in there, you could see either the white, which is the dust, or black specks, which we originally thought was coming from the 3D printed adapter.
the PLA stripping off and popping in.
But it's not the case. So
it probably was the adhesive.
I think it's the adhesive. So when you pull this out, some of the adhesive is coming off and falling in to the Vive. So what I would do is I take a bright light, go in there, wipe it off because it tends to stick to that screen. Take it, wipe it off to the side, and then move the piece off to the edge, and then softly just went in and gave it a quick blow.
It came out.
And it blew it out.
Right.
And then just make sure everything was clean, and then cleaned your glass, your lens, took the brush, and I went over the edge to make sure there was no residue left over on the edge that was going to fall back in, because getting this into the Vive spot on, in one shot.
Oh, it's not.
It's not easy because you got to go on an angle and then you got to pop it in. Yeah. So you're bound to get specks in there. So wipe everything off, then pop it in. It took me I'm telling you, half a dozen times before I got it perfect.
Okay, now I can tell you that I had a speck on mine, and I was going to take it off. And then playing it, I realized that the speck was no longer there, so it must have just fell off, and then I didn't have to take it apart.
Yeah, it could happen, but you're more likely going to get specks in there, so you don't think you're.
And if you're going to do the mod, there's a chance that just like if you're reading the Reddit forums or other people, there's a chance you're going to go back to the old lenses anyhow. So don't be afraid to take it back off, clean it, put it back on, because you're going to be messing around. And we do recommend that you do the barrel distortion fix before you actually start playing it. That's just our recommendation.
Yeah, absolutely. And another tip is make sure you take your foam off before you start. And I've seen another really good tip. Once you take your foam off, you can't really clean this part because everything sticks to it. But if you take a piece of painter's tape and put it on and pull it off, idea. It will clean off that whole surface so that nothing else will fall off of that little, because these things grip onto everything and it fall in there. So before you start, take this off and then take painter's tape, go around, clean the whole thing, wipe everything down, get it as clean as possible. Right. So when you take your lenses off, nothing's going to fall off.
That's just a synopsis. That's just a summary, a synopsis per se of how to do the install. Again, watch the older videos, but really, we're going to talk about some of the things that we've come across, some of the things that people are debating. If there's anybody who's jumping in the chat, we have a moderator who is going to scream at us and let us know that there is a question or somebody has their thoughts they want to share. But first things first, my Vive. I'm going to start with my Vive. Here is a box of nose rests. And the reason why I had to order these is because this is the original one off my Vive. You'll see there's tape on here. There is the little clips that are on here, and it's supposedly, it's a little bit of a nuisance, a nuisance.
Oh, see what you did there.
They get this back on the Vive, and you struggle a little bit. And I thought, okay, well, I'm just having a problem. But here, one of the clips actually broke on this. So I ended up having to order another nose rest.
So for anybody who doesn't know, when you pull this off, there's a clip here in the center, but there's also, if you look real closely, 2 little clips to the left and the right of it. And what you're supposed to do is get the center one in and then push the sides in. You'll hear both of them snap into place. In Bob's case, he actually, when we removed this to give us room to work on the Vive, this actually, one of these snapped off, if not both of them.
Right. Which is no big deal. It's a couple bucks.
Yeah,
but it was just a pain in the butt when you're trying to play it and this thing is drooping down.
It's avoidable.
But it can happen. That'll break. Now on my Vive here, and pay no attention to this part here because we're in the middle of testing external devices here. But on my Vive, where you typically will pull these adapters out, and then adjust the HMD display forward or back in case you're wearing glasses and so on. I can no longer adjust one of these sides completely because this entire housing, while I was playing, landed on the floor in like 7 pieces. And there was, screws and adapters and so on. So in my attempt to put it back together, I did. However, when you pull these out and you rotate it, one goes much further than the other one. So I have to take this whole thing apart and try to fix it again. So the point that I'm trying to make is there is a chance that when you do the mod, things are going to happen, and your HMD is not going to be the same.
Right.
But by the way, it will never be the same, according to some Redditors, when you put the lenses in. And even if you go back to the old lenses, it will never be the same. But in my case, I literally have to take this apart again.
I'm going to throw this out as a precautionary measure. That may not have happened because of the swap out.
Right.
Okay. But if it did happen because we swapped out the lenses, what we feel might have happened is we were holding it like this to pry out the lens.
I absolutely think that was the case.
So whoever's going to do theirs, don't grip these sides using the part that turns, because you could stand the chance of damaging that.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's exactly
try to grip it on the case itself. And then that'll be
the moral of the story is don't be a couple stew nuts when you're trying to do the upgrade. Take your time. If you look at the video, it's horrible. Go back and look at the video. We're pressing down. I'm grabbing this. I'm not. It was just not a good idea.
Yeah,
so I'm sure that I damaged this myself. So just be careful. We're just saying be careful when you do the mod. All right. So getting on to the list of things that we find a little bit different from what the original Vive was. Some people have said that they're going back to the old lenses because of color, because of this, because of that. We're going to start with some of the things that kind of a little bit of annoyance.
Yeah, we'll start with the annoyances that people talk about, we've experienced.
Because it's not all peaches and cream. It's not all honey and bees. It's not all sugar.
So what's the first thing on our list?
Pasteurized.
Miss Moderator. Yeah, I'm breathing heavy too.
First off, fans wanted to say that he was able to use the GearVR cover by cutting with a pair of scissors the parts that did not fit. And he says he's still loving the lens mod that was used in Skyrim earlier today. It's much nicer.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Skyrim is a big difference.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, big difference.
Yeah.
And we're going to tell you some of the things that we tried that were a big difference. But.
So lenses are always dirty.
Okay. Yeah. The first one.
Lenses are always dirty.
Okay. So here's what we found. The first. So anytime we're playing the Vive, we always have something around, because what we noticed is now every time we take the headset off and on, we have to wipe down the lenses. I believe it's because that these lenses sit much closer to your face, and then when you're taking it off, they're actually brushing against like your eyelids and so on. So we find that our lenses are constantly being cleaned.
Yeah, and I also have a theory. Would you like to hear my theory?
I would love to hear your theory.
Okay. These lenses, because we're lensologists,
right,
are a lot clearer on the outer edges. So you tend to see more dirt on the outside instead of it being blurry, and the dirt that is on the outside kind of blurs in with the blur of the old lenses.
Okay, I'll buy that, dude. To be honest, I'll buy that, because I can tell you that because the old lenses had the outer lens was blurry.
Right.
I really wasn't concerned about cleaning.
And if I got a piece of hair or something on the outer edge of it was still playable on the old lens, because the sweet spot on the old lens was so small that it started blurring out at you. Anything that was on there, like dirt or anything like that, you tend to just ignore it. On these, the sweet spot is a lot bigger. So any of the dirt that's on that outer edge, I find, is more of an annoyance than the old one, and you want to clean.
Yeah, so we're finding that we're cleaning our lenses.
We're cleaning, and I think it's a combination of what you're talking about, your eyebrows hitting it, and it actually being clear, and you end up cleaning.
Listen, all I'm doing is baking some donuts and filling it with some troops. That's all I'm doing, and that was one of the things that I've noticed is I'm constantly cleaning the lenses. So yeah, not a big deal, but something that you should be aware of. All right, next on the list, heat. Okay, this is debatable.
Yeah, me and him debated about
this. All right, we disagree on this one.
But I don't disagree. I understand your point. But
when you're, and I'm trying to eliminate So when you're putting on the headset, what I find is as soon as you put on the headset, it's everything is clear, everything is visible, and because of the sweet spot is there, you tend to want to just jump in and play. This actually, because the lenses, you can feel the lenses if you don't put these on properly. You can feel this part. You can feel the plastic
this
hit
part of
the underneath of your eye, which is very annoying, and it's a good and bad thing because what'll happen is if it hits under your eye, what you'll realize is you're probably not wearing the headset in the correct position. This is what I'm finding. So what you tend to do is you tend to take the top strap
with the mod.
With the mod.
Right.
And you tend to pull it so that it's up a little bit so that the weight distribution is more on the back of your head and resting on the top of your forehead than it is really pressing up against your nose. And as soon as you do that, it alleviates that edge off of underneath your eye, above your eye cheeks. What I found is, and maybe it's just a coinky-dinky, just saying that this is where we debate. I find that now we tend to sweat more with the mod in my household. We tend to sweat more with this because what we think is happening is because it's resting on the forehead a little bit tighter than the normal headset would, the heat gets trapped. And because the heat is getting trapped, it's causing more heat buildup and causing you to sweat a little bit more. However, Bill makes a good point.
No, I said BS. I said that I don't see how new lenses could actually cause the headset to be hotter. Coincidentally, we are playing more active games since we've gotten the mod installed. But with that being said, we talked about this for back and forth for a while. And Bob is basing his heat theory on the fact that even the games that he played before, like Audio Shield, he didn't have that heat issue, and he has it now. So there is some validity to what he's saying about the headset having to be, you have to adjust it where the headset is tighter on your forehead, because that carries the heat more. You know, your forehead is what sweats the most when you're playing.
Now I'm going to throw in another variable in this lensology theory.
Okay.
Only because I just thought of it just now. Just clicked just now. We've almost had to build a park with the amount of rain we've had.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, humidity's been absolutely.
Humidity's been out off the charts, and maybe that's causing it too because the air's a little bit more humid. I don't know. I'm just finding that it's a little bit more sweaty. So we're finding ourselves, needed to let this dry a little bit more. Okay, that's number 2. Okay, 3.
Rubbing against face.
Okay, we kind of already talked about this, but the lens rubs against your face with the mod. And so the solution is to pull the head strap up a little bit, take the weight off of your nose, which really you shouldn't have to weight on your nose to begin with. And it fixes that.
You'll find that sweet comfort spot. And actually the mod made me find a more comfortable way of wearing my Vive, because prior to the mod being there, the weight was always on my face. And I mentioned this in the other video. We got the deluxe audio strap, and the deluxe audio strap on the side, the wire comes around and wraps around the back, and there's a Velcro strap that goes on the back, and it's got a little clip here that holds the wire in. And prior to doing this mod, my right eye would constantly swell up. I almost to the point where I could only play it for like a day, and then I'd have to put it down for almost a week because my eye was swollen. What it turned out was that this deluxe audio strap, anytime I would step on the cord, it would pull tight. It would pull this wire here, and the right side of the headset would be pulled against my head. So only the right side of my headset would be real tight against my face and causing a lot of pressure on my eye. It was then that I loosened the wire, gave it some slack here, and then never had that problem again. Right. And coincidentally, it was after I put the lens in that I realized that that was occurring. So,
yeah, because you would complain about that after an hour of playing like a sit-down game.
So
it wasn't even.
That's just a tip from me to you. If you have the deluxe,
very generous, very generous.
Make sure you have some slack at the headset area with the wire, so that it's not that side is not being pushed against your face.
All right, good. Next one.
Lens clicking.
What is it?
Lens clicking.
Oh, lens clicking. Okay, so here's something that I noticed. And I'm not annoyed. So, and maybe you'll hear it. Let me see if I can replicate it. But when I'm cleaning the lens,
you want to put it up to the mic?
Well, I'm going to see if it does it. Yeah, now it's not doing it. But when I'm cleaning one of the lenses, one side, you'll hear it clicking back and forth. And here's the problem with 3D prints. When you're having your 3D print done, if it's not 100% level, then there may be a chance that there's some play. And then that play will show in the when you put because this has to be exactly flat.
Yeah.
And then when you put it down, it should be extremely flat. If there's a little bit of play in there, then it won't sit right on the inner rim of the actual HMD. So what I'm thinking is that one side is not sitting right. Now, I believe this is the same lens that when I took off the original lens, the adhesive came up with it. So what I'm thinking is happening is that the adhesive now is not level, and what I'm hearing is the
actual adapter
swivel from the adhesive being.
Well, I don't think that's the case, and here's why: because I had that same clicking on mine, and it was terrible. I could push on one side and it would click. Push on the other side, it was
what I'm hearing.
I printed out 4 more of these, and when I cleaned my headset, I swapped out the adapter. Perfect.
Okay, so that's great because you have a 3D printer. I have a 3D printer. But for
somebody who also doesn't
have a 3D printer, just the nature of the beast. Somebody who's printing it is. Yeah, I mean, they can do whatever they want. They're not going to be able to tell because the bed is the bed. We print on glass. You can't get any flatter than glass. It still could happen.
Yeah,
I can tell you that I have not seen any negative result of the lens.
Yeah, when it was happening to me, I could click it. I did testing. I could click it one way, click it in. When we say click, we're not talking about
it's not a major.
It's not
wobble.
moving.
No,
you just hear it. You can hear it clicking. But I tried it when I was cleaning mine, and it was happening. I put my headset on, I clicked it one way, and then clicked it the other, and did some testing. Yeah. It did make a difference.
And I also did the same thing, and it didn't make a difference in the gameplay at all, or visually. I couldn't see any difference.
But yeah, I would recommend popping it off if it gets annoying. But
right. But for somebody who actually paid to get these printed, and you put it in, you find that it's clicking, the popping it off, popping it back on. It may fix it, but it may be the 3D print, and then you're out, and you have to order another set of 3D prints. So, but there's really nothing you could do about it other than testing the print. Is there any questions?
One I just answered. Franz had asked if we used ABS plastic or what plastic did we use, and I said we used PL.
Yeah, we use PL. ABS is a harder plastic. Can tend to be more brittle. So that being said, and this is a lot of reading on Reddit that ABS under certain circumstances shrinks depending on your environment and home. So if you have a cold or a hot, they normally print ABS in an enclosure. It's recommended to print ABS in an enclosure.
We don't print on ABS because we don't put our printer in an enclosure. That's how much it's.
But when you print on ABS, if the temperature is not right, these could shrink a little bit. And I'm not talking about like noticeably shrink, but shrink a little bit enough where you're going to have trouble putting the lens inside the holder. Now that's kind of good in a sense, but somebody contacted us said they chipped their lens. So you know, just again, we're just relaying some messages here. PLA is a little bit more tolerant when it comes to temperature variations in the home, and will give you a more accurate print than ABS, unless you're printing in an environment where your temperature is steady and you maybe having to close it, then go for ABS.
But keep in mind, there's no really steady temperature when you're wearing a headset and you're heating this up by your body heat.
Yeah, so you know, either one will work, but we did hear that ABS is more brittle. Well, I know for a fact ABS is brittle.
We print a lot of prints, and we know for a fact that ABS. We chose PLA for ourselves. You can do ABS. It's going to be a stronger material, but it's got its downsides.
If somebody charges more for ABS, go with PLA.
Yeah, I would recommend PLA.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because ABS is going to be more expensive. Most people will charge more because it takes a little bit more to print ABS.
Yeah.
All right. Next topic.
Bob's HMD still not fixed.
Okay, so I kind of already covered this, that I still have to work on my HMD.
Oh, the next topic is Bob's HMD is still not fixed in case they can't hear anything.
So but we already covered that. All right, next.
FOV.
Oh, okay. Field of view.
Field of view.
So highly debatable. Oh my God, so many discussions on Reddit on field of view. Okay, again, this is just our personal opinion on field of view. Okay, when you look up the definition of field of view, it is the area of the game in which you can see
it is
through the lenses.
Area of the gameplay area that is visible.
Right.
Is your field of view.
Now, we do understand that the Vive lenses are larger than the GearVR lenses. So therefore, it gives you a larger field of view as far as the looking as if you're wearing goggles effect. We'll call that the goggles field of view.
Yeah, let's call that,
For me, Bob's sake, because our definition of field of view is in-game. And we've tested this, and a lot of people have tested this, and we get the exact same in-game field of view as we do with the original Vive lenses. Now, the original Vive lenses are bigger than that's non-debatable. The Vive lenses are bigger than the GearVR lenses. With that being said, we have a couple theories, because when I put it on, I don't, and this is just me, I don't see the whole goggle thing. I know it's there, I just don't focus on it. And for me, it doesn't impact gameplay at all. I did not notice a difference in that aspect when I originally put these on.
Now, for me, it is horrible.
Shut up. He's lying out his teeth. Okay,
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to fuel this.
If this was a dramatic difference, I think I would have noticed it the minute we put them on. I would have been like, oh, that the field of view has changed. But to me, that's not the case. A couple theories here, okay? It's just theories. And we're gonna ask you, and we're gonna hate to do this, because what we hate doing is presenting ideas that will impact your gameplay. And we'll give you an example. When somebody mentions to you about the screen door effect, you're going to start focusing on the screen door effect, and you're going to notice the screen door effect. But the minute you stop concentrating on the screen door effect, it goes away. And that's because you're no longer concentrating on the negative. You start concentrating on the positive, and you're going to see that some people see things differently than others, and it's all because on how they focus on their gameplay. I don't focus on what am I looking at outside of the gameplay. I don't focus on the screen door effect, even though I could tell you that it's not as bad.
I didn't notice a difference even when we were looking for it, but to be honest with you, I didn't.
Got a couple theories on the whole field of view, and we're talking about the field of view goggle. So I'm going to bring this close. I'm going to bring this close up. So this right here, this outer rim, and Mandy, let me know if they see that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this outer rim is about the size of the HTC Vive. And I say it's about the size because when you put these in your Vive, you have a little bit of play on the Vive itself. So this rim right here is about the same size, if not smaller, than the rim that you're putting your HTC Vive lens on. So, Bob, do you have your Vive lens? So this is the actual HTC Vive lens. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this up. So if I hold this up and I stick it on,
don't scratch my crap up. Don't.
I'm holding it up lightly. So now I got the lens on there. Even though this lens is bigger, you don't get to see the whole lens because the lip that's inside the casing of the HTC Vive takes a good portion of the lens off of it. So that's one piece. Even though the lens appears bigger, the lip on the inside of the Vive, I'm not talking about this lip. This is just an example of what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the actual Vive itself. The lip is thick, which eliminates the outer portion of this this lens. So when I flip it around, the GearVR slips inside this portion. So what you really have, if you look through here, that is your actual field of view of the HTC Vive lens, is that distance in there, because you've got to accommodate for the lip.
It may be a little bit smaller, but it's about that. That's the way you want to look at it. I mean, in theory, that's how you want to look at it.
So this is why we don't, and the fact that this sits closer to your face now gives you the impression that this is larger because it's now closer to your face. So now there's two variables on this. You got the lip that makes the HTC Vive appear smaller, and then you have the closeness to your face, which makes the GearVR lens appear bigger. Now, we're not talking about like major here.
Right.
We're talking about just enough. Now, I ask you this. Now, I asked Bob this earlier today. If this was really a field of view, meaning you're looking through goggles and you could see this lens, if that were
now we're talking about the goggle effect, not the field of view.
And I'm talking to those people who have not modded yet. I'm asking you people who have not modded yet. If you could see, if you're saying that this lens is giving you a better field of view, why don't you focus on this flat part down here at the bottom when you're wearing your glasses? If this is truly the whole lens is what you're seeing, this flat part, I would think you would focus on.
Bill asked me this question. He went, Bob, let me ask you a question. Field of view. And I'm like, wait, which field of view are you talking about? Because I honestly, we debated this quite a bit. We get this all the time. We've got this question 100 times. I had this, what field of view? And he went barrel effect. I'm like, okay, good, because now I know the barrel effect. Have you ever seen the flat part of your lens? And I had to honestly say,
no,
I have never
seen the flat part.
Headset.
No, let's be honest.
The flat part
the
of
original
the lens.
Vive lens, the flat part is huge.
Yes, so
it's huge.
It is a good point that your goggle effect, if you're looking for it, is visible. But when you're looking at the field of view in game,
it's the same.
It's this for us.
It's
the same.
No, I'm not just saying for us. I've seen other video examples.
All right, if you want to throw it out there,
I'm not going to throw names, but other people which in game brought up lines and showed the actual field of view in game. But we're not talking about the field of view in game in this one. We're talking about the field of view, how big the lenses are. Now, that brings us to our next point, which is the lens quality. So does anybody have any debates on this whole kept me into the VR lens?
Or I'm assuming we're back.
I would assume so. We just got somebody who mentioned something. One friend says this is a great live stream with Bob and Bill. I feel lucky to have found you at the stream today. Sampla9 says you've given me a lot of information with the past. I feel lucky to have found you at the stream today. Sampla9 says you've given me a lot of information with the past streams on the subject. I especially value your objective, unbiased approach on this. Now, my recently acquired GearVR is waiting for the adapter.
Okay. Well,
thank you a lot for these.
Okay, so before we get to the next topic, I really want to read some of these Reddit responses, just so I want to clarify. We're trying to be as objective as possible and unbiased.
Right.
Somebody said that somebody was looking forward to doing the mod. They were trying to get more details, and somebody jumped in and said, it's different for everybody. They went back because it messed up their colors. We did not experience any color change, but I got to tell you, if we did, I would have switched back.
Yeah,
I would have switched back. So for that person who had color problems, I don't blame you. I would have gone back.
Absolutely. I don't personally understand how a clearer lens could dull down the colors, but hey, if it happened,
it can happen.
I can tell you that I did read a very good Reddit post, and look it up, where somebody had purchased several Gear VR and found that the lenses are not all the same. Even though he got 2000, I think it was 2017 models, even though he got several 2017 models, or maybe 2016 models, he got several of them. When he put it in, the distortion problem didn't appear on one and did appear on the other.
Well, I mean, it's possible
so,
that you get different lenses, but
so when you hear about the distortion and stuff like that, another variable is that they, Gear VR was pushing these out for the longest time. They were giving them away with their phones, literally. Through those times, they could have switched manufacturers to the lenses, and you don't know what manufacturer manufactured the lens. Maybe we got lucky, and maybe we got the same manufacturer, and those people where no problem got them from the same manufacturer. Who knows? But
all right, another person switched back because their field of view wasn't what they expected. Barrel distortion was still an issue for them. I don't know if they did the version 3 barrel distortion fix, and they had pupil swim. So it just ruined the immersion for them, and they switched back. And again, if I couldn't overcome the barrel distortion, which lucky for me, and lucky for you, the version 3 fixed it completely for us. We don't have that. Pupil swim is a little bit debatable because we're finding ourselves looking in the direction now, which is something that we're going to cover when we talk about games we're playing now. So pupil swim, I can understand that if you're not used to doing that, but I have a funny feeling that that's going to be an issue with the Pimax when people start, that bigger sweet spot. But we'll get into it when we talk about
one of the developers actually posted about, he didn't say don't do the swap. He just said that you make these issues because they're not properly calibrated for the Vive. And that's all well and good. If you want to read into that post as in, hey, we calibrate every lens to the Vive, and don't take out your Vive lens, and please take the advice and don't take out your Vive lens. But
somebody else said that they having a little bit of sickness, and they're hoping that it's going to go away for them. And I have to remember, if I saw